Have you ever dreamt of going to a magical school? Riding on a broom with friends, attending enchantment classes, casting magic spells? Perhaps you're also looking for somewhere else to hang out with your owl, away from a certain franchise. Well, you're in luck, as there are tons of wonderful RPGs out there where you can grab your backpack and wand and head to some wizarding academies. From made-up magical sports with your friends, to attending potion classes, to getting chummy with your cute new cat, there's sure to be a school you want to attend next semester. But before I jump into my list of suggestions though, you can actually go and check out the Trans Witches Are Witches bundle over on Itch, which is a collection of TTRPGs, zines, video games and more based around wizards, magic and the occult. It starts at around $60 and is running till February 24th. Some of the games on this list are actually going to be in that bundle, so make sure to check it out if you're interested. I will also mention that there are plenty of supplements out there that can bring a magical school to your favourite RPGs, but I've tried to share some new games that really focus on wielding magic, being a teen and attending school. So, I'm Maddie from Dicebreaker, and here are 10 magical school RPGs. If you want to attend a magic school tucked away from the real world, where you get to pick a wand, a broom, and a familiar companion, if you want to play those silly made-up magical sports with your friends, and get lost in the forbidden corridors of the library or a twisting hedge maze, Kids on Brooms is your RPG. It's the magical version of the 80s movie-style RPG Kids on Bikes, offering the same things to love about the original while transporting you to a wondrous wizarding world. So, you'll develop a magical school together as a group, build interesting relationships before you even start playing, and then head off for all your wonderful magical adventures. You can even create your own class schedule where you'll be graded and level up your magical skills from your potion classes to defense against malicious magic. However, rather than picking up specific spells to learn, your magic is flexible, allowing you to use whatever feels right in the moment. Each time you try to cast a spell or to brew a potion, you'll be tapping into your character's skills. You'd use the Fight one to cast spells to attack others, Charm would be magic to influence someone's thinking or create an illusion, or Grit would be to craft a potion to heal someone. There's no long list to keep track of, meaning you can adapt to any situation, pulling out amazing thematic spells like a thunderbolt during a wizard fight, or silly hijinks like filling someone's socks with slugs. Kids on Bikes is a rules-light, narrative-driven RPG that is perfect framing for any magical school adventures you could possibly want with friends. If you're coming to this list with a love of anime like Little Witch Academia or Kiki's Delivery Service, then Cantrip was made for you. It's an RPG about coming of age in a world with magic and supernatural elements, focusing on light-hearted adventures and friendship between you and fellow players. Cantrip is a GM-less system too, so someone will take a role of a facilitator who understands all of the basic rules and is there to kind of encourage people to play, but everyone will be playing their own witch and joining in all the fun hijinks. So storytelling is a collaborative effort, which also means you get to build a world together too, conjuring up your very own magical academy. Perhaps you all study in a mountaintop temple with a mysterious hedge maze, or a castle by a lake surrounded by giant pumpkins. If you're new to playing without a game master, it can feel a little intimidating, but Cantrip does a great job at prompting you every step of the way. Just reading through the book will have you imagining all sorts of fun adventures your witches can go on. There's an academic calendar filled with interesting events, from a lovely harvest festival to school council elections. Then each of the playbooks have their own moves that are always there to push roleplay forward if you ever find yourself lost for words. Cantrip has all of your favourite witchy high school tropes and more, with the traditional and haughty posh character to the nature-obsessed hedge witch and everything in between. They're all fun and incredibly flexible, letting letting you conjure your own backstories and decide if you cast spells through dance, have a pet hawk, or a teapot that never empties. It's definitely one of the more wholesome games on this list, so if you dream of being a witch in a bakery rather than a fight, I'd recommend Cantrip. One thing that allows a magical school to work are the teachers. They're the ones sending a demon back to hell when a student accidentally summons one, putting out fires in the elemental studies class, and the ones to shout "slow down" when students race brooms down the hallways. But how must it feel to deal with all of that? Well, grab your whiteboard marker because you're about to find out. In Pigsmoke, you play as the faculty at America's foremost college of magic. It uses part of the Powered by the Apocalypse system, so you have various moves, and I think they pretty much sum up exactly the feeling of the game. You have Publish, where you finally put all of your research out into the world, but it may end up with the dean forcing you to teach more. There's Scathe, because what's the point of being an academic if you can't scathingly remark on somebody else's shoddy research? And of course, Red Tape, where you try to do anything that involves the college's nightmare bureaucracy. And what are teachers without departments? Players also get to opt in to decide if they're dissecting in the Department of Life and Death, brewing in the Department of Alchemy, or getting up to other magical trouble in another. Pigsmoke is a light-hearted jab at academia, but it's also a chance to explore the prejudices and issues rampant in these institutions. You can have a wacky adventure of the football team being possessed by ghosts, just as easily as you can explore what it's like to be the first in your family to attend university and how others treat you there. After all, magic doesn't always make things easier. In fact, it probably does quite the opposite. If you're less worried about casting spells at your magic school and more interested in the teenaged angst of dealing with a magical world, then why not check out Monster Hearts 2? This is an RPG that deals with the messy lives of teenagers who are secretly monsters. From shoplifting at the local mall to your very first kiss at a party to coping with fangs growing in, it explores the difficult but exciting coming-of-age experience. Your moves in the game will be anything from getting high at the back of the school field and accidentally slipping into an alternate consciousness with Gaze into the Abyss, or flirting in the school cafeteria to get the hot werewolf to join the hockey team with Turn Someone On. It's very much rooted in the high school experience, with the monstrous size of players just adding another layer of teenage trouble to explore. You might not be able to brew potions, but who can even think about that when you're 16 and have just drunk the blood of your friend's crush, or you transformed into your werewolf form in front of the horrible school bully? Monster Hearts isn't about going on quests, it's about exploring emotions and relationships. It's an inherently queer game championing diversity at every level and allowing your group to get deep into some interpersonal issues if you've all been craving a truly teenage experience. So, while it's not necessarily a magical school setting, it is a supernatural one, and whether kids have wands in their hands or claws, they're all dealing with the same drama. If you like the idea of being a vengeful fae cheerleader, a lonely ghost kid with their head always buried in the book, or an infernal punk who is killer at guitar, even with Satan in their brain, then this could be the school that your group enrolls in next year. If, in your mind, the very best thing about being at a magical school is having a cute familiar or pet, why not just become one? Magical Pets is a 2-page RPG about being the cute familiars of students and faculty at a magical academy. you support your human in their studies and teaching. But as they're often very busy, of course you find time for your own adventures too. You can be anything from a cat, toad or snake to a miniature unicorn, whatever you think would be fun to play. Character creation is easy. Once you know your species, you give yourself a driving characteristic like clumsy or intellectual, and of course a magical pet name, because patches won't do, you need to be Glitterbeak. Then you decide your stat number. Magical Pets is based on the simple Lasers and Feelings RPG, so uses a similar system of having two differing stats that your character sits somewhere in between. Here they are magic, which means you're good at things like spells and going to classes with your companion, and pet, which means you're better at being cute or flying or interacting with humans. It's basically that simple. As a group, you create your own magical school setting too, with strengths such as having pet flaps and cozy corners, and weaknesses like foul-tempered caretakers and scary flesh-eating plants. Magical Pets has everything you need for a fun one-shot or more, and could be a really great additional game to play on top of one of the others on this list, where you actually get to be your witch's familiars for a one-off session and adventure. Just print out the one page to share around the table, or you can check out the screen reader accessible HTML version that can be opened in any browser at any time. It's really that easy to have a perfect game. Do you spend too many hours scrolling through dark academia tags online? Do you picture yourself walking the grounds of a mysterious and dark academy when I mention a magical school? And if you know that with powerful magic comes powerful enemies, then let me introduce you to Tangled Blessings, a horror journaling game for 1 to 2 players. You're an adult and senior at Blackroot Academy. Over the game, you reflect on the last 4 years of study as you prepare to face your ultimate rival in a final exam. It's a chance to delve deep into some of the darker ideas of what having magic might mean, with reaching out to ghosts, opening portals, and moonlight rituals all highly encouraged. Tangled Blessings uses a tarot deck to chart your experience, from which schoolhouse to join to what happened while you were there. Over the 4 years, you draw cards and journal about the experience from the corresponding prompts. Perhaps you were injured in a training duel, but was it really an accident? You'll think about what the snake venom and fresh blood potion made, and whether you took a little sip. And at the end of the game, you keep track of what cards you draw, and they become your final deck for that final exam. Tangled Blessings really puts the dark in dark academia, and it is on Kickstarter now, so you can go back it and get ready to have some masquerade balls and murders, bloodstained illusions, and the chance to ask, what will you do to achieve your dream? Based on the Witch Girls comics, the Witch Girls Adventure RPG sees you becoming young magic users tapping into powers that run through generations of your family, whether you know it or not. While the base game isn't necessarily built around academia, it's still about being a young magic user finding their way in the world. Plus, there are actually a bunch of supplements, 2 of which do revolve around attending a school, so you can just grab one of those. Witch Girls Adventures is a chance for you to get really detailed about what your witch sona can do. The RPG allows you to pick cliques, backgrounds, skills, traits, heritages, schools of magic you specialise in, different equipment like brooms and tomes. It's a really detailed breakdown of everything you could want when designing a teenage witch. For those new to role-playing games, it could feel like a lot to take in at first, but it also gives you a load of inspiration of what you could do in any given situation. There are pages of spells to pick from too, such as turning annoying people into frogs, conjuring smoke from thin air, or giving someone the worst hair day imaginable. Witch Girls Adventures is set in a modern world too, so you can even tap into cybermancy, which gives you mastery over the digital world alongside the normal curses and elemental powers. So if you want to be a young witch bubbling over with a detailed list of special talents, then this is the adventure for you. Now, this isn't technically about being at a magic school, nor is it about being a teenage wizard, but it is a fun solo RPG about being a witch that could definitely be adapted to be more in line with the theme of this video if you wanted. Apothecaria is about taking over as a village healer, using your magic to brew potions and help the sick visitors. As part of the game, you decide what your village is like and what kind of house you have. So that's an opportunity to decide if you're a school apprentice in the healing department, or maybe this is an extracurricular activity you've been sent off on from university. Or you could just go full head witch and enjoy the wonderful magic system, the theme be damned. A game is played by journaling your experience as you draw cards to determine what happens. Villagers come to you with ailments that your deck will reveal. You need to decide what ingredients you use to brew a cure, then head off into the wild to find them. Theme Hospital is one of the inspirations behind Apothecaria, so all of the illnesses are fun things like ventriloquist's cough and candlestick, so don't worry about having to deal with actual real-world sickness. It's very much a fantasy world you're operating in. And this includes all the forageables you can track down too. There are 4 base locations you can visit, such as the forested Glimmerwick Grove or the cool Meltwater Loch, with more to unlock as your witch grows more powerful. And that's not all. As you hone this craft, you can get a trusty animal familiar, upgrade the tools you use, and deal with more serious illnesses. So you may not be at a special magical academy, but in Apothecaria you are definitely still a student in your witchy cottagecore arts. Lo-fi Bards to study and relax to is another powered by the Apocalypse Magic School adventure, but with a twist. In this RPG, you and the other players attend a magical school or university, explore the grounds, study for exams, and make lifelong friends along the way. However, unlike other entries, your magical item of choice is a notes writer. This is basically a fantasy cassette player that allows you to chill out with your Lo-fi Bards playlist when you're feeling stressed. Which might be because you've got a big exam coming up, or because you fought a massive griffin. Either works. While your notes writer is a low-level accessory at first, a way to unwind and basically heal yourself from the game's stress damage, it can also be upgraded as you progress, allowing you to skip back in time with a press of the rewind button, or pick up a cursed and haunted cassette tape that are wound with magical energy. Of course, you should also create your own lo-fi playlist as a group to listen to when you describe how you all chill out after a hard day at school. It's in the name, it would be rude not to. There are nearly 100 other cool magical artifacts too, like the magical coffee mug, because your students are cramming after all. Then there are a whole 25 different heritages to play out, so you can be an elf, dryad, cyclops, or whatever feels right. Lo-fi Bards to study and relax to is flexible with a fun twist, so you can ditch the wands and still get straight A's. A large part of your time in education outside of the classroom is discovering who you are, which is the core of RPG, The Magical Year of a Teenage Witch. This can be played alone through journaling or with friends out loud over various sessions without the need for a GM. Similar to Cantrip, this is another slice of life story where you're more likely to be filling in your spellbook with an iced coffee in hand than fighting terrifying monsters. You play over 4 seasons, having moved to a new town to make the most of your magic year where your powers are growing the strongest and fastest. To play, you roll on one of the prompt sheets to see what your experiences are. Over time, your witch will gain new memories, pick up new skills, and even fill out their magical spellbook. Each season is filled with inspiring prompts that immerse you in this cozy world, from raking leaves in autumn to tapping into extra power on the longest day of the year. It's all about finding who you are and learning about your magic, which is very much a young adult experience, whether you're technically attending a university or not. So, step out of the library into the real world and do some good magic. So those were 10 magical school RPGs you should enroll in if you're looking to study tomes, ride brooms with your friends. For more great RPG recommendations, you should subscribe to Dicebreaker right here and hit the notification bell, as we have tons of great videos coming out every single week. From Thursday live streams where we paint and play games, to weekend lists and reviews just like this one, to our own very RPG actual play Storybreakers that comes out every Friday. You can also head over to dicebreaker.com for daily news and updates on the tabletop world. But until the next class we have together, I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!